What's going on, guys? It's Yugi Bros, and today I wanted to showcase a tournament that took place, got posted to the Speed Duel chat. Xavier Feliciano, I believe. Sorry if I butcher your last name. But I saw this, actually a friend of mine sent me these decks that won his tournament. He had a GOAT tournament and a Speed Duel tournament. But we're going to obviously take a look at the Speed Duel tournament, and the winner of this tournament played Gravekeepers, but it was more like a burn variant of Gravekeepers, playing triple Curse, the one Oracle, triple Recruiter, a Lava Golem in the main deck, which is pretty cool. Spheres, bringing back the star of the show in the beginning of Gravekeepers, which is Wonder Wand. 3 Nightmare Wheel, 3 Rite of Spirit, and 3 Zoma the Spirit. This is a cool deck, actually. I wanted to try it out. Obviously, it utilizes Twisted Personality, just all around really good burn skill. In the side deck, it's 2 Golden Ladybug, 1 Gravekeeper's Chief, which I actually really like here, to bring these back and burn extra damage. 2 Warrior Elimination to deal with the Gear Warrior decks that are running around right now, and 1 Blast Held by Attribute. I'm not sure why he only played 5 cards in his extra deck, but that part's beyond me. So showcasing real quick a few of the other decks. If we skip past the GOAT decks, here was a Gear Moth deck where it plays triple Gear Freed, double Nidoria, 1 Gap, 3 Paranoid, 2 Moth, 3 Wheel, 2 Dust Tornado, 2 Wild Tornado, 3 Zoma, 1 Offerings, and 2 double Cyclone. And the side deck I actually really like. It's very versatile. It's 1 Windstorm, 1 Offerings, 1 Soul Release, 1 Warrior Elimination, 1 Lava Golem, and 1 Gap. Soul Release, really nice to see that. I'm surprised, actually. It's a little surprised it's not DD Crow, but this can be really strong since it can manage up to 5, so it makes sense. Moving forward here, we have another Gravekeeper deck, which is essentially the same list, except the Lava Golem is not in the main deck. He actually doesn't even play Lava Golem, period. Actually, the other build didn't play Dust Tornadoes in the main, but this one does, and I actually prefer that, personally. That was top 4. And then another top 4, Moth, but it's playing Gravekeeper. I believe that's Gravekeeper. Yes, Gravekeeper, to search both Maneater Bug and Paranoid, which is kind of cool. So instead of Nidoria, you're playing this. So it's not a Dark Moth package, because you don't have Dark Monsters in your deck, so you don't need a Lure. And you're not playing Nidoria or Dekoichi, but this allows you to either get something to destroy but on a future turn, or the Paranoid to go off with your deck. And he actually sided 2 Visor Shock, which I find very interesting. It's when it's tribute summoned, it returns all set cards on the field to the owner's hands. Granted, your opponent can chain those cards, but this can be really good depending on when you play it. So I like that a lot. Also, props to the Skull Knight in the extra deck. And then another one, top 8, was a Warrior deck. This one's Conflict Warrior, playing Inner Conflict as its main skill and siding into, I believe it's Twisted Personality in the side there. I really wish Dueling Book would let us side skills. This one, obviously, the guy made custom, so he could put it in to the list here. But this one's essentially standard, except it's also maining the gaps, which is cool. Oh, and I like the side of Hyper Hammerhead, where anything it battles, if that monster that battled it's still in the field afterward, it gets returned to the hand. Return the Moths to the hand, as long as they don't have Paranoid, that's pretty good. But returning other things to the hand, too, is also just really good, really key essential. And the Possessed Dark Soul, I assume more or less for Relinquished, and any like zombie variants, or the EFR normal monster thing, if that's still a deck. Obviously, some of these side deck choices are geared towards whatever people in the tournament themselves are playing, but nonetheless, I like to see the creativity that goes into these things. Here's another standard Dark Moth build, which was also siding Visor Shock, and actually only mained 2 Nightmare Wheel. Interesting choice. Keeping the deck at 25. Also only 2 Dekoichi. Not that these aren't interchangeable. I feel like this is a 3-0, but this makes sense. I don't have a problem with this. Another Moth build, siding the double Visor Shock. Also double Blast Sphere. I think that's pretty cool. So, you know, after you've seen these get set a million times, you think you have almost no fear, you know what you're running into, and then it's a Blast Sphere. That can catch you off guard real easily. Oh, this was cool. This is an EFR deck. For the people that don't know what I mean by EFR, I mean Enchanted Fitting Room, where you pay 100 life points, excavate top 4 cards from deck, and for every level 3 normal monster, level 3 or lower I should say, you special summon it to the field. So he's playing Armed Zombie, Zombie Clown, I believe, or Clown Zombie, I forget its name. Dragon Zombie, and Gaps are in his deck as well. This is interesting, actually, because earlier, I never posted it to the channel, but I was building an EFR deck, and I played it. I mained a Gap, but I also played Heatwave, so I think I ultimately took the Gaps out because I was playing the Heatwave. But this is interesting. Obviously, triple Allure to draw in, triple EFR, triple Offerings, triple Twister. Both of which of these can just be used on your battle phase as well as your opponent's. The side deck is very, very interesting. I'm not sure really why you'd side a White Elephant's Gift unless it's for like a slower matchup. Also, Dark Red Enchanter is really good to rip a card out of your opponent's hand. But triple Light Force Sword, really hating on what, Sphere Karibo or Golden Ladybug or what have you. So he has all the hand destruction in the side deck, for sure. But yeah, so that was those tournaments. I actually wanted to showcase this because I'm going to try out that Gravekeeper deck against Moth. So let's get into this, shall we? We're playing Twisted Personality. Our opponent is playing Cocoon of Ultra Evolution. So they elect to go first, and they set the usual stuff. We're going to draw into Wheel, Normal Summon Curse. What I really like about this deck is that Curse lets you put extra counters on this as fast as possible as soon as you summon it. It's like I had said that I think in one of my other previous videos where dropping this is one of the easiest ways to get counters on this on your turn. And then hey, if it swings in for an extra 800, that's always a +2 because you're doing burn and you give yourself another counter. On the end phase, they're going to Zoma though. They're going to go in and use the Parasite. We're going to Dust Tornado it immediately, getting it off the field, but they're going to shuffle it back into their deck and draw into another Allure. So they're going to use the first Allure here, banish the Koichi, use the second Allure here, banish Nidoria, set the Koichi, set one, and have Zoma swing into our monster. Fine with us, we take 1,000, but it gets our boys up to 3 counters, which means we can easily get rid of this Zoma the Spirit now, which we do. We're going to normal Recruiter and put Wonder Wand on it, which prompts them to use Dust Tornado. But what I like about the Wonder Wand in this deck is that if they don't Dust Tornado, it's a draw 2 plus a search. And if they do Dust Tornado, they waste Dust Tornado on that versus something like this Nightmare Wheel that's just sitting down here right now. Speaking of which, they're going to Nightmare Wheel our monster, so we're going to have to pass. We're going to take 5, but that puts a counter on our skill. They're going to flip the Koichi, draw a card, and tribute it for Gap. Gap will swing into our monster. We're going to Nightmare Wheel it. And we're kind of at a standstill right now. In the draw phase, they're going to Dust Tornado our Nightmare Wheel, so we don't get a counter for it. We're going to set Zoma the Spirit and pass. I'm going to draw into Nidoria. We take another 5, but we get another counter. They're going to normal summon to Koichi because they don't want to waste Nidoria here and have them crash each other. They're going to have Gap swing over our Recruiter for 1,000. We're then going to use Recruiter's effect to add another Recruiter. Because now we have 3 counters on this, so we can pop this and set this thing. And Koichi won't be able to get over it. So we can essentially stall for a little bit. They're going to swing, we're going to flip Zoma, but Zoma switches back to attack mode immediately on the summon because of Gap the Divine Soldier, so they can't get over it. We're going to use our skill, getting rid of Gap. And since we now have a monster strong enough to kill the Koichi, we figure let's put Recruiter in attack mode, set the wheel, and go in. Getting them nicely down to 11, which means either attack from us is game. They will, however, get the Paranoid off. Go figure they top deck it. Getting rid of our Zoma, and they get perfectly ultimate, but they've already used the draw skill. However, they will normal the Nidoria, and they will have Moth swing over our Recruiter, which we Nightmare Wheel, and they'll pass. Makes sense because if they had Nidoria swing into this, both would die, and Nidoria is forced to then target a monster on the field and destroy it, which would mean they would be destroying their own Moth. We draw into Oracle, which is a really nice draw. We're going to tribute our Recruiter, summon Oracle, do the -2,000 effect, and get Curse with Recruiter. And then we're going to use our skill to get rid of the Moth, just in case. Midoriya is at 0 attack at this point, so we will swing over it for game. Doesn't matter if they can pop it, because they have no life left. So going into game 2, with us up 1-0. It's real nice, actually. They're going to start with Golden Ladybug, which they sided in, which is real strong against us. It's going to slow down our burn. Thank God we have a win con aside from that, but it's not a big one. We're going to normal recruiter set 3 and swing. And they actually take it, which is nice for us, so we get a counter. They're going to Zoma end phase. They're going to Golden Ladybug once again. It's actually a really strong card in their deck. Because for every 500 we do, every time Golden Ladybug reveals itself, that just negated the 500 that we got. Thank God we have Twisted Personality, otherwise the burn really essentially does nothing when it's being countered by that. They're going to swing, we're going to wheel it, we're going to Zoma on the end phase. I always forget to switch my token on whatever deck I'm using. In the draw phase, they're Dust Tornadoing, so we don't get the counter once again. So we'll set 2, we'll have Zoma try to crash Zoma. Now that we know Zoma versus Zoma equals 0 damage, but they're going to Nightmare Wheel that, so that doesn't work. They draw into Newdoria. We take 500, they gain 500. It's a slow but sure defeat with the infinite gains. They're going to normal Newdoria, try to crash it into Recruiter, but we're going to Nightmare Wheel that because they'd kill 2 birds with 1 stone there. But then their Zoma will kill our Recruiter, so we will use its effect and add Oracle. We'll add Nightmare Wheel, or we'll draw Nightmare Wheel. They'll take 500 from the current one on the field. We'll use our skill to get rid of their Zoma. We'll flip Rite of Spirit, bringing back Recruiter. And originally, I think the plan was Tribute for Oracle, but at this point we realize we can just have these crash. And they do have a Nightmare Wheel, keep in mind, but I think they're saving it because they know we have Recruiter. Or, I'm sorry, Oracle. So we crash, getting rid of essentially all 3 monsters. Nidori gets rid of the Zoma. We get a search. And we've cleared the board now. They draw into Zoma, they gain 5 off Ladybug, they set that and pass. We too draw into a Zoma, which is nice, so we'll set that normal Recruiter and swing. They'll take that, we get a counter, and we pass. On the end phase, they'll flip their Zoma. And they'll draw into Dust Tornado, which is a real clutch draw. So they'll gain 5 once again with their Ladybug. They'll set their Dust Tornado, they'll switch Zoma to attack and have it swing over Recruiter. I think at this point they realize we have an Oracle, but if we can't keep a Gravekeeper on the field, then we can't summon it. So they might as well get rid of it, even if it does result in us searching another card. Makes sense. End phase, we Zoma. Thinking now we have a way to out their Zoma. We draw in a Dust Tornado, which is real clutch, but little do we know they already have a Dust Tornado. We Nightmare Wheel their Zoma in the standby phase, so it puts a 3rd counter on our skill. We'll use our skill getting rid of their Zoma and keeping the Dust Tornado for a future play. We're going to swing in with the Recruiter. They're going to take that, so we get a counter. We're going to swing with Zoma. They're going to Dust Tornado that, as expected. And then we misclick. There we go. They're going to draw on a Parasite Paranoid. Go freaking figure. This deck is so clutch in the sense of it just has everything it needs, and then when it runs out of resources, top deck Paranoid. Did it last game, did it this game. First they'll gain 500 off their Ladybug. Then they'll use their Paranoid on our Recruiter. We'll Dust Tornado. Thank God we saved that and used the skill on Zoma. Worked out real well. So they're going to end up setting Golden Ladybug and passing. We draw on a Sphere Kuriboh. I like the use of Sphere Kuriboh in this deck in addition to all the other defenses that it has, because in addition it just makes sure you always have a way to stop them. Even if they eventually can, even if they top deck into the Paranoid the next turn and send our Oracle to the grave, we have an out with Sphere Kuriboh. Speaking of which, they played this perfectly. They set their Golden Ladybug with the intention of knowing that we had Oracle. We would probably tribute summon the Oracle to destroy all set monsters, which we did. We ran right into their play here, which makes perfect sense because they've been saving this for the Oracle ever since they saw us search it. So, we don't know we've played into their trap, but we have, and they flipped the wheel. And we are 100 shorter than them, and now we're 600 shorter than them. And even though they dead drew this Moth, they can just effectively keep going for a long time. However, we have Curse. So we can normal Curse, get a 3rd counter on our Twisted Personality, use all 3 of those, get rid of the Nightmare Wheel, and swing for game. Guys, we just 2-0'd Moth. All last week, we took forever. We couldn't do it. We just 2-0'd it here. I'd play 3 matches on here, but like I said, I don't want my videos to ever go beyond 20 minutes anymore, so unfortunately I'm not going to do that. Plus, I know you guys are probably sick of Moth at this point, so for the future Duel videos, for the next few, I'm definitely not doing Moth. I myself am sick of this. So as far as the Moth deck goes, it's been the same build. Like I said, we've been trying to use the same build consistently and then have everything play against it. The only thing I switched was the Wild Tornadoes for Twisters after learning the Wild Tornado can't pop Zoma in the Monster Zone. Alternatively, so I kind of meshed it together with both builds that I saw in there. We played the 1 Lava Golem, which we never draw, so we can't even show you how good that was. The 1 Oracle, triple Recruiter, triple Curse, triple Sphere Karibo, double Wonder Wand. Every time I play 3, it like bricks me, kind of like the Allure thing with me. Triple Rite of Spirit. I kind of feel like I should cut this to 2 just because it's the same concept with this. Every time I draw this too early. But, you know, whatever. Give and take. Triple Zoma, triple Nightmare Wheel, triple Dust Tornado. In the side deck, we played the Chief for extra burn. 1 Golden Ladybug. 1 Warrior Elimination. 2 Offerings to Dooms and 1 Twister. This is more like a generic side deck than anything else. But guys, what did you think? Did you like, love, or hate any of our card choices? You know the drill. Leave your comments down below. Please like and subscribe. As always, click that notification bell to get all of our latest updates. And since we're not going to do Moth for the next few videos, what would you guys like to see as my next endeavor, my next deck endeavor? Let me know, and I'll see you guys later.